I'll tell you, and I want to thank everybody who doesn't like me this past week, because for the last month now, and I know people got it hard all over the world, but for the last month now, I've been covered up with shit to do, and it's been very stressful mentally, and trying to get everything accomplished, and all the things in my personal and private life and professional life, and running this empire, this media empire I got going on. But the last couple of days has refreshed my faith in humanity that I could get a tickle at these people that have been cussing me and screaming and hopping up and down over the last couple of days from the Jim Cornette experience, that they actually, truth be known, they didn't listen to. They just took the one screenshot that some wise ass put out. But, you know, well, they, like we say, they may have listened to it, but they wouldn't have got it. But yeah, so that Jim Cornette hates babies, and I love it. I put out a tweet. I said, it's incredible that the teenage girls that used to write and send me threats and hate mail and death threats for what I said about Ricky and Robert the Rock and Roll Express have now apparently grown up into middle-aged men who cry over pregnancies and royal weddings. Oh, my God. At the top of the program, we must acknowledge some of you people out there. Brian, you've seen them. I expected women to get mad at me because I was knocking pregnancy in any way, shape, or form, even though I wasn't against the act, just the timing. And actually, I'm against the act if it involves me, but if somebody else wants to do it, that's fine. But I was astonished at the timing. And also then they said, well, he's mad because Becky Lynch is pregnant. No, I'm not mad. Once again, I'm astonished at the timing. But I expected to get a lot of women upset. But Brian, you've seen these people out there. There's two types. There's purportedly both grown adult men. Some of them have their favorite girl wrestler's picture as their profile thing on Twitter. You've seen these, right?
I've seen those, yes.
And they mention their favorite girl wrestler's name at least 2 or 3 times in their profile to go along with that picture. But they're purportedly grown adult men. And they're like, oh, you're so horrible. How dare you? A woman could choose her right. Oh, Becky's our hero. And then there are apparently a grown adult men who have pictures of grown adult men on their profiles. I can't verify these people. They're not blue check marked, so I don't know if they're real. And they sound the same way. Oh, you hate babies, and you got him, and you're so horrible. Before we delve into this in any depth, let me illustrate the chart for everybody right now. If you are a grown adult male and your wife or girlfriend or significant other gets pregnant and is going to have a baby, then yes, that is a call to be emotional. And I can see if you're a grown adult male and your brother or your cousin or some member of your family's either gets pregnant or their girlfriend or significant other gets pregnant, there's some call for emotion. Or some personal, close, longtime friend of yours. When you get emotional over movie stars that you have never met and celebrities that you've never met, or if you have met them, it was in a line to get their autograph at an event, and you get emotional over them getting pregnant, chances are you get your feelings hurt easily, and you're a very nice person. And if you're a grown adult man and you get hopping up and down mad enough to shriek and cry and cuss people on Twitter and take time out of your day to give 2 flying French fried titty fucks because one celebrity that you have never met criticized another celebrity that you've never met for doing any fucking thing, getting pregnant or blowing a goat on Broadway, you're a big fucking pussy. I think have we got the proper categories there straight at the top of this discussion, Brian, do you think, where we put everybody in their proper pigeonhole? Would you have elongated those parameters? Or
well, let's not say we, but you have certainly explained your chart right there.
But I mean, would you change any of those parameters? Or
I do think people may be a bit overly sensitive. I don't, I said it on the show. I don't necessarily agree with your take on Becky Lynch getting pregnant and the wonderful celebration that Becky and Seth Rollins will be having for the next 9 months and beyond. However, there are some people, I don't know, it's almost like you attack a member of their family when you say these things.
Oh God, I know, and it's at least it gives me some entertainment. But here's the thing. No, I'm not against babies. This is why this is going to be titled Hating I don't hate babies. I don't hate the concept of babies. I don't hate any babies in particular. And I don't even hate children. I'm in favor of children as long as they're other people's. And if they're other people's children, if they're not well behaved, as long as you keep them away from me. Well behaved children in limited doses are fine with me, but I don't begrudge anyone the opportunity to have these children or whatever the fuck. And I'm not against, as I said, the concept of babies or pregnancy, and especially practicing for pregnancy. I feel people should stay in tip-top shape there. What I was remarking on is the astonishing timing that you put all this work and all these years of your life into becoming the biggest star in the world at what you do, which is this case, she was, as we acknowledged, the biggest box office traction as a female in the wrestling industry. And actually, besides Brock Lesnar, because of the dearth of candidates on the male side, she may have been, number two. I'm sure she sells more merchandise than Brock, but he's the king of fucking the big show. But you know what I'm saying. Biggest star in her field. Most successful. And most people don't ever get a chance to do that. And once you give it up, especially purposely, you don't always, and sometimes rarely, ever get it back. So from a standpoint of that, and and I coined the phrase $1 million, because nobody's ever said that before, but and then I actually realized I was underplaying that. I said the millions of dollars that you're making in the prime of your career, unless you were pissed off at the business and just said, fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore. Why would you allow such thing to happen? They're professional athletes. One would think if they eat right and train right and take all the right supplements, they can take the right fucking obstacles as well to prevent these things from happening if they're paying attention. But that was what I was astonished about, was that anybody would do that at this particular point in time and give up income like that, and et cetera, and that spot and that opportunity. I likened it to the Olympics, except it's not, because that's an amateur deal, but you train for the Olympics. You're the fucking greatest gymnast, or, you're going to gold medal in the uneven parallel bars or whatever the fuck. And then all of a sudden, boom. And then 4 years later, sometimes these chances don't come around again. But it's not like the Olympics, because you're also getting paid millions of dollars. So that's what I was astonished about at the timing. I'm not mad at Becky and Seth, because I'm not going to get a percentage of their income or the WWE income. I was astonished at the timing. However, what I did start getting mad about in the interim, when people called it to my attention, Brian, she's still got a guaranteed contract. She's still going to get paid.
I was going to ask you about that, about the idea of...
I was just thinking, in the old days, you don't go to work, you don't get paid. I understand you getting fucking injured and having guaranteed income. That's great, because that injured in the line of the wounded on the battlefield in the line of duty. But now you've just taken yourself out of the game. But she's still going to make money. So now Vince should be the one whose head is blowing up, one would think.
Or they're still going to be able to merchandise her. I was going to ask you how that works. Do you still get your downside guarantee? And also, if you are out for pregnancy and then, I guess, maternity leave after that, Do they just tack that time onto your contract, do you think?
I don't know, because I don't know how these people write these contracts these days unless they're out on the internet as part of a lawsuit, which this might end up that way. Vince is suing the fucking guy he's going to pay $20 million to, and that guy didn't call in pregnant. But here's the thing. From a business standpoint, you have, let's say, Brian Last, you as a talent have gone to Vince McMahon and you've agreed on the money and the terms for your contract. You're going to wrestle for him for 3 years. He's going to pay you X amount of dollars, all the deals, all the particulars. And then, and I'm not saying this is the time of Becky Lynch's contract. I'm just saying halfway into it, suddenly you call him, Vince, I can't come wrestle for you anymore. Why? Because I got pregnant. Didn't we discuss that you were going to wrestle for me for 3 years? I was going to pay you all this money and do this, and I've done my shit. But now you can't wrestle for me, and this is an optional decision. You didn't break your leg. I'm for maternity leave for a normal job, because whether you're a woman CEO of the biggest company in the world, you can still run your company when you're pregnant, or you're the lowliest file clerk in the mailroom. Not only can you do your job most of the time when you're pregnant, but also you can give your employers months and months of notice of when you would be unavailable, and you're not irreplaceable because you're not a movie star that is irreplaceable in a chain of action films, or you're not a world-class athlete, or you're not the best in the world at what you do, just being taken out of the game. So yes, then a company that has this female employee should then let them go off and have the baby and give them time to fucking get well and then come back, because they're not irreplaceable and they gave notice way ahead of time. And there was no, in those jobs that you have agreed to, it doesn't require you to get picked up and slammed down to the ground over and over. That's completely different than this. What if NFL football players, $20 million a year, pal, for 3 years, you're going to play for the Dallas Cowboys. A year and a half in, he's, well, I'm pregnant, I can't play. What the do you still want your $20 million a year? I did that. There's a gray area there. If you've made a commitment to do something for somebody, then you actually should honor that commitment and try not to do anything that would prevent you from doing so, as long as they're holding up their end of the deal. And now I'm thinking, no wonder Vince looks so fucking ancient these days. His top male star is on the shelf for whoever knows how long, and he's not even going to mention his name on television. And now his top woman takes a fucking walk. Fuck, that would have killed a lesser man.
Yeah, well, let's not have sympathy for Vince on this. He's treated his talent like cattle forever.
Oh, well, yeah, he still has treated his talent like shit, but I'm just saying, no wonder, from his viewpoint, no wonder he's looking so fucking peaked lately. He's like, what the fuck? Can you imagine if Hulk Hogan and fucking The Ultimate Warrior would have walked out at the same time in 1989 or whatever? I don't know. But anyway.
Well, one of the reasons Hogan was off in 88, it was two things. It was no holds barred, and also that Linda was about to give birth for the first time, and Hogan wanted to be with her.
Well, boy, and look how that worked out for everybody. Yeah. Look how that worked out for everybody.
Oh, come on.
Good Lord. Anyway,
maybe not the best comparison.
I'd go back and rethink that one. But anyway, so no, I don't hate babies. Yes, I'm for maternity leave for female employees of corporations that don't offer such thing. They do in the rest of the world, because that's obviously a whole completely different situation. But in this instance, holy fuck. I was astonished at the timing on her part to give up what you would have worked your adult life for at the point where you've gotten it, and you can still have it for another few years. You might not get it back. But now from Vince's standpoint, or from any wrestling promoter or any major sports, okay, well, UFC is not the same thing, because they might fight every year and a half anyway, for fuck's sake. But But anyway, as far as the average fucking jack off on Twitter is concerned, nothing has changed in the teeny bopper rock and roll express fans of 1986 and these outraged, very, very fucking, what's the word I'm searching for? Easily hurt, butthurt, or whatever they call it. Fucking twats on Twitter these days that, oh, Becky's my favorite. Don't you dare say. Oh, and Dana Brooke was another one. They came to Dana Brooke's defense.
Yeah, let me just jump in first and say I'm very happy for Becky and Seth, and I hope they have a wonderful pregnancy and a delightful little bouncing baby at the end.
Well, yes, but no, now not bouncing. If it was a bouncing baby, it'd be taking bumps. Then she could have kept on working. The baby'd be bouncing. Anyway, but no, let me put a period on that also. I'm not against babies. I'm astonished at this timing, and I am highly entertained by all the people who legitimately threaten me with physical violence and hate me and want me to die, because that's cheered me up over the past couple of days. And I appreciate you guys doing that from the bottom of my heart, because it renews my faith in that there's no reason why anybody has to be smart to the wrestling business. Otherwise, we beat them over the head with it. Because if they will get this fired up about shit like this, then I could have these people fucking bringing in goddamn automatic weapons and fucking, airborne pathogens to try to fucking. Now they'd probably send me anthrax in the mail these days instead of boogers if I was still on TV every week.